Hey everyone, it's baze.djunkiii transmitting from Hamburg, Germany, back with a new video, and well, back with another vinyl talk video. This time we're dealing with a more contemporary release, even though it's almost has been released almost 7 years ago, but I consider this like more contemporary in comparison to the last releases I've dealt with. And we're dealing with one on the Weeme label, a label from Belgium actually that has been around for quite a while, a label that I enjoy a lot and always check out, or most of the times, or used to when I worked in the record store still, because they cover a very wide range of music. Definitely something like in the vein or in the heritage of labels like Reflex or Warp in its early days and stuff. So they are not like focusing on one specific style. And this one is a release by a group or like a project I always check out as well. This is Acid Cask 3 Mind Wharf by the CEEPHAX Acid Crew. That's a name that has been around in the electronic music scene for long, starting out on at DMX's Break-In records. And as you know it, basically Break-In was more like electro leaning, but always had like a bit of a experimental, playful, acidy twist in there as well, and some bleepy, like tongue-in-cheek, more like computer music or like computer game music related things in there as well, in terms of the sound aesthetics, the 8-bit, the playfulness, and the general happiness on that on the label. And then CEEPHAX had things on Reflex, which was like kind of FX Twins label, I guess, and on Planet Moo. Then they had something on, as I said, Weeme. Then they ran their own label, First Cask, and basically, even the name suggests acid, as their name, CEEPHAX Acid Crew. Their releases have not always been like pure, proper acid, and this one is kind of a exception from that, because Acid Cask 3, as it's called here, is basically an acid record, but still very unusual for CEEPHAX, because only the B2 track, the nearly 8 minutes spanning Lassiter's Acid, is like proper acid in a way you would expect it from them, or from a like old school acid producer with this like wild style, very bouncy, very hypnotic acid lines. But also we got tracks on here which are more like trance, acid trance leaning, which is basically a genre of its own, and was and is pretty unusual for someone who is like producing proper, straightforward acid to lean into, because it's more like melodic, and like there are floating strings and like pads attached to that, and it's a totally different scene, the acid trance scene, in comparison to the more raw and untamed acid scene. Basically, there's a track on there that is basically more on a dub techno tip. So think hard wax, think ornaments, think all that, Carlos Milms and all that kind of people, but also has this kind of like very subdued and like tender, basically tender acid lines on there as well. So this is there's other tracks on there which are more like in the acid trance direction as well, as I mentioned. So this is quite an unusual release for CEEPHAX Acid Crew, Acid Cask 3, and I basically rediscovered this today when I was going through a pile of records that I still had in a box to listen to again, and I thought, well, I could like basically mention that at least on my channel, because CEEPHAX is a name I check out always. Basically, I'm not going to the record store so much anymore, but whenever I saw them in the past, I had at least to check them out, because they were like very influential to the genre. I didn't buy so much. They had some like very lo-fi, like decaying acid house albums, which were not basically my type of thing within that kind of music. But recently, or more recently, I guess in 2019 or 2020, on the Weeme label as well, they had an entire album that was more like deep house leaning with a little bit of acid in there as well, which I really enjoyed. So I bought this and I bought that one as well. So and I got some on the want list from the Acid CREW series as well. So Weemy in general, a label to check out. They also had releases by DJ Stingray. I guess I own the Aqua Team 2 as well, which is pretty expensive. And yeah, CEEPHAX, and I guess I got one or two more. So interesting stuff for the dance floor. Basically for a mixture of acid and acid trance and like uplifting, positive, electronic dance music for those who like it. And yeah, that's it. Basically a very short Vinyl Talk video today, because I thought I could show this, and I hope you enjoyed this. And if you got something from CEEPHAX Acid Crew in your collection, let me know, of course. So baze.djunkiii out. See you in the next one, I guess.